What if I told you that after 60, your body doesn't just get older, it starts quietly deleting specific muscles you absolutely need to stay independent? I'm talking about the muscles that help you climb stairs without holding the rail, get out of a chair without rocking back and forth, and walk confidently without worrying about your balance. The scary part is, most people don't notice these muscles fading until everyday life starts feeling harder. But the good news, you can rebuild them at any age. And I'm going to show you exactly where to start. After the age of 60, muscle loss doesn't happen evenly across the body, and that's something most people never realize until daily tasks start to feel surprisingly harder. The body tends to shrink in very specific, high-impact areas first, especially the glutes, quadriceps, deep core muscles, upper back, and calves. These muscles are not just for athletic performance or looking toned. They are the exact muscles that keep you upright, steady, and independent. When they begin to weaken, the effects show up in subtle ways at first, like needing to use your hands more to push off a chair or feeling less confident going downstairs. Over time, those small changes can turn into bigger limitations that affect how freely and safely someone moves through everyday life. The glutes, which are the large muscles around your hips and buttocks, are among the first to decline, especially in people who spend long hours sitting. These muscles are responsible for driving your stride when you walk and stabilizing your pelvis when you stand on one leg. When they weaken, the body shifts the workload to the lower back and knees, which are not designed to handle that role alone. This compensation can lead to discomfort, stiffness, and a gradual reduction in walking speed and stride length, which are both linked to overall mobility and fall risk in older adults. The quadriceps, located on the front of the thighs, are another early casualty of age-related muscle loss. These muscles are essential for straightening the knee and controlling movements like sitting down, standing up, and climbing stairs. When the quads lose strength, people often start avoiding lower chairs, holding onto railings more tightly, or feeling unsteady on steps. Because the quads play such a major role in absorbing force when you move, their decline can also increase stress on the joints, making knees feel less reliable and more prone to discomfort during everyday activities. Deeper inside the body, the core muscles that wrap around the spine and abdomen also tend to weaken with age, particularly if someone has had back pain or long periods of inactivity. These muscles act like a natural brace for the spine, helping maintain balance and posture during movement. When they lose strength and coordination, posture begins to slump, balance reactions slow down, and the lower back has to work harder to keep the body upright, which can contribute to fatigue and instability during simple tasks like standing in line or carrying groceries. In the upper body, the muscles of the upper back and rear shoulders gradually lose strength as well, especially in people who spend a lot of time looking down at screens or sitting with rounded shoulders. These muscles are responsible for pulling the shoulders back and keeping the head aligned over the body. As they weaken, posture shifts forward, the center of gravity changes, and balance becomes more difficult to control, particularly during walking or turning movements. Finally, the calves, which help push the body forward with each step and stabilize the ankle, often lose both strength and power, reducing the ability to react quickly to a stumble or uneven ground, and making walking feel slower and less springy. One of the biggest reasons everyday movements start to feel harder after 60 is the gradual weakening of the glutes and quadriceps, two muscle groups that do far more than most people realize. These are the primary engines behind basic actions like standing up, sitting down, walking, and climbing stairs. When they lose strength, it's not just about feeling a little less powerful. It changes how the entire body moves and how safe and confident a person feels during normal daily life. Many people assume joint pain or stiffness is simply part of aging. But often the real issue is that these large, supportive muscles are no longer doing their share of the work. The glutes, which include the gluteus, maximus, medius, and minimus, are responsible for extending the hips and keeping the pelvis stable when you move. Every time you take a step, your glutes should be helping drive you forward and keeping your hips level. But with more time spent sitting and less time doing strength-based movement, these muscles can become underactive and weak. When that happens, other parts of the body, especially the lower back and knees, start compensating. The lower back may tighten and ache because it's trying to help with movements the glutes should be leading, while the knees may feel more strained because the hips are no longer absorbing force properly. At the same time, the quadriceps on the front of the thighs begin to shrink and lose strength. These muscles control knee extension and are heavily involved in lowering your body with control, like when you sit down or walk downstairs. Weak quads often show up as difficulty getting out of low chairs, needing to rock forward to stand up, or relying heavily on handrails. Over time, this can create a cycle where people start avoiding activities that feel challenging, like stairs or longer walks, which leads to even more muscle loss and reduced endurance. This weakness doesn't just make movements feel harder, it can directly affect balance and fall risk. Strong glutes and quads help you make quick, controlled adjustments if you trip or misstep. Without that strength, recovery becomes slower and less effective. Even small stumbles that would have been easily corrected years earlier can become serious fall risks when these muscles are no longer able to respond quickly and forcefully. Another important piece is how these muscles support the joints. The hips and knees rely on surrounding muscles to help manage load and maintain proper alignment. When the glutes are weak, the knees may collapse slightly inward during walking or standing, increasing stress on joint surfaces. When the quads are weak, the knee joint absorbs more shock without muscular support. This can contribute to feelings of instability, soreness, and a growing lack of trust in the legs during everyday activities. The encouraging part is that these muscles are highly responsive to targeted strength training even later in life, and rebuilding them can dramatically improve how easily and confidently someone moves through their day. From climbing stairs to getting out of a car to simply standing up without hesitation. Most people think of the core as something related to six-pack abs or appearance, but the muscles that matter most as we age are the deep core muscles that sit beneath the surface, especially the transverse abdominis and other small stabilizers around the spine. These muscles act like a natural support system, gently tightening to protect the spine and keep the body balanced during movement. Along with them, the muscles of the upper back play a critical role in holding the shoulders back and keeping the head aligned over the body. When these areas weaken, posture begins to change in ways that affect far more than just how someone looks standing in front of a mirror. As the deep core loses strength and coordination, the spine becomes less supported from the inside. This means the larger, more superficial muscles in the lower back have to work harder to keep the body upright. Over time, that extra effort can lead to tightness, fatigue, and recurring discomfort, especially during activities that involve standing, bending, or lifting. People may notice they get tired more quickly when doing simple tasks like washing dishes or walking through a store, not realizing that poor core support is forcing their body to work inefficiently. At the same time, weakness in the upper back muscles, including the rhomboids, mid-trapezius, and rear shoulder muscles, starts to pull the shoulders forward. Modern habits like reading, using phones, and sitting for long periods make this even worse. The head begins to drift forward in front of the shoulders, creating what is often called forward head posture. This shift might seem small, but it changes the body's center of gravity. When the head and shoulders move forward, balance becomes harder to control, especially during walking or turning. This postural change doesn't just affect balance, it also places extra strain on the neck and shoulders. The muscles at the base of the skull and along the neck have to work overtime to hold the head up, which can lead to stiffness and tension. Meanwhile, the chest muscles often become tight, further pulling the shoulders inward and limiting how well the upper back muscles can activate. This imbalance creates a cycle where posture continues to collapse, breathing can become more shallow, and movements of the arms and shoulders feel more restricted. The connection to fall risk is significant. Good posture helps keep the body stacked in a way that allows quick, efficient balance corrections. When posture is slouched and the core is not providing stable support, reactions become slower and less coordinated. Even small shifts in weight, like stepping off a curb or turning quickly, can feel less controlled. Over time, this can lead to a growing fear of movement, which reduces activity levels and contributes to further muscle loss. Rebuilding strength and coordination in the deep core and upper back can gradually restore a more upright posture, reduce unnecessary strain on the spine and neck, and improve balance responses. Making everyday movements feel more stable, efficient, and comfortable calf strength might not be the first thing people think about when they consider staying mobile after 60, but these muscles play a surprisingly large role in how safely and confidently someone moves. The calves, located at the back of the lower leg, are responsible for pushing the body forward with each step and helping control the ankle when the foot meets the ground. They act like springs and shock absorbers at the same time, storing and releasing energy as you walk. As these muscles lose strength and power with age, walking often becomes slower, heavier, and less stable, even if a person doesn't immediately realize why. Every step you take depends on the calves to help lift the heel and propel you forward. When they weaken, stride length often shortens, and the foot may not clear the ground as well, increasing the chance of tripping on small obstacles like uneven pavement or the edge of a rug. The push-off phase of walking becomes less effective, so the body has to rely more on the hips and thighs to move forward, which can lead to earlier fatigue during longer walks. Over time, this can discourage people from being as active, which then contributes to further muscle loss throughout the body. The calves also play a key role in balance, especially when the body sways slightly forward or backward. Small adjustments at the ankle, controlled by the calf muscles, help keep the body upright without requiring a large step. When calf strength declines, these subtle corrections become less effective and balance strategies shift higher up to the hips or require a full step to recover. That delay can make it harder to catch yourself if you start to lose balance, increasing the risk of a fall. Power, not just strength, is another important factor. The ability of the calves to contract quickly helps you react if you stumble or step on an uneven surface. After 60, muscle power often declines faster than muscle size, meaning the speed of contraction drops even if some strength remains. This slower response time can make recovery from a trip less successful, turning what might have been a minor misstep years earlier into a serious fall. Weak calves can also affect how stable the ankles feel. The muscles and tendons around the lower leg help control side-to-side movement at the ankle joint. When they are weak, the ankle may feel wobbly on uneven ground, making surfaces like grass, gravel, or slopes feel more intimidating. This can lead people to avoid certain environments, gradually shrinking their world and limiting opportunities for healthy movement. Improving calf strength and control can make walking feel lighter and more confident, improve the body's ability to make quick balance corrections, and support safer movement across a variety of surfaces, all of which are essential for maintaining independence and reducing fall risk. As the years go on, one of the most empowering truths about aging and muscle loss is that it is not a one-way street. While it's true that muscle mass tends to decline after 60, this process is not fixed or irreversible. The body retains the ability to adapt, grow stronger, and rebuild muscle tissue well into later decades of life. Research consistently shows that people in their 60 seconds, 70 seconds, 80 seconds, and even beyond can gain significant strength and improve muscle size with the right kind of training. The key difference is not age, but whether the muscles are being challenged in a consistent and progressive way. Muscles operate on a simple principle: use them or lose them, but also use them and build them. When muscles are not asked to work against resistance, the body gradually reduces the resources devoted to maintaining them. This is part of why a more sedentary lifestyle can accelerate weakness with age. On the other hand, when muscles are regularly challenged through strength training, the body responds by reinforcing those tissues, improving nerve signals to the muscles, and increasing their capacity to produce force. This process can happen at almost any age when the stimulus is appropriate and recovery is respected. Consistency matters more than intensity, especially in the beginning. You don't need extreme workouts or heavy weights to start rebuilding. In fact, gradual, controlled movements performed 2 to 3 times per week can be enough to spark noticeable improvements. The goal is to create a routine that is sustainable, where the muscles are gently but clearly challenged on a regular basis. Over time, small increases in difficulty, like an extra repetition, a slightly deeper movement, or a bit more resistance, signal the body to continue adapting rather than plateauing. Recovery is also an essential part of the rebuilding process. As we age, the body may need a little more time between sessions to repair and strengthen muscle tissue. Rest days, good sleep, and proper nutrition all support this repair cycle. Protein intake becomes especially important because muscles need amino acids to rebuild after being challenged. Including a quality source of protein at each meal can help maximize the benefits of strength training and reduce the rate of muscle loss. Beyond physical strength, rebuilding muscle has powerful effects on confidence and independence. As people notice everyday tasks becoming easier, like climbing stairs or carrying groceries, they often feel more capable and less fearful of movement. This increased confidence encourages more activity, which further supports strength, balance, and overall health. It creates a positive cycle where progress builds on itself instead of decline feeding more decline. Perhaps most importantly, understanding that muscle can be rebuilt changes the mindset around aging. Instead of viewing weakness as inevitable, it becomes something that can be influenced through action. With regular strength training, supportive nutrition, and steady progression, people can improve how their body feels and functions, maintaining mobility, stability, and independence far longer than they might have thought possible.